Hey guys, it's Chase here on Gemmy Master Animatronics, and today what I have for you is quite an unusual piece, I would say. And in this video, you're going to hear me say the word "we" a lot, because there is like no information that I could find on this. I have looked online, I have outsourced to friends, and even friends of mine that collect, like basically strictly collect Morbid pieces, don't have a lot of information on this. So when I say we in this video, like, we don't have a lot of information on this, we don't know where it was sold, we don't know the year, blah, blah, blah. That is not me not being knowledgeable on this. That is, like, multiple people. So I have tried. I did my best to do research on this, and I could not find anything. There are, like, 2 videos of this on YouTube in some sort of party store, I guess, and that's to the extent that I know. So, just fair warning, there's not going to be a lot of information said about this except what it does. So, without further ado, this is the Morbid Enterprises very large eye popper clown. And when I say very large, I mean this thing is huge. When you get animated hanging pieces, you don't typically see them in this size. I mean, back in the day, like in party stores or something, you would see pretty huge hanging pieces, but they had vacuform heads. Their eyes may have lit up, and that was about it. That was all that they would do. Whereas this piece is around the same size. It's got an animation. It's got a full latex head. It's got sound. Great detail. I mean, this one, I would say, is such an amazing and one of the best hanging props, in my opinion. As far as, like, just like the old hanging pieces that you'd see back in the day. So this is one of 3 Morbid hanging pieces that they did as far as the eye poppers. There was a Hooded Reaper. There was a Witch, which looks nothing like a witch. It kind of looks like a goblin. And then there's the clown that I have in front of you. There is no, like, one that is rarer than the other. I would say all of them are just ridiculously rare, and I have never seen one surface on eBay aside from a brand new in-box Hooded Reaper, which my friend Evan got, or Spirit Fan, and he actually helped me create the tag for this item. I did make a tag for this piece, which I will show in a little bit. We just kind of copied over the tag that his Reaper had, but I'll kind of get to that later on. So this piece has one animation. It's got, and I would say it does have like multiple things that kind of happen, but there is only one motor doing everything, so I would say it only has one animation. It has 2 eyes that pop out, and its tongue pops out, and it has sound. It doesn't really have like a phrase or anything, it just kind of screams while it does it, but I think it's still super cool. It's a pretty cool phrase, if you want to even call it that. And before I forget, this item came from my friend Ben Hauntastic, so huge shout out to him. I've gotten a ton of items off of him recently that I intend to do reviews on, including the clown that, I don't know if you can see, it's right next to Graves. It's the clown that was in Circus du Spirit, or Circus du Spirit, whatever it was, that theme from 2010. It's the hanging clown that has the banner. And so there's some props that I got from him that I may do reviews on. I might even do one on the clown that has that banner. I don't know. Somebody had said in the, I think in the community post that I made, like, oh, you should get one of these. I'm like, oh, I've already gotten it, so sure. So I may do a review on that, but either way, I've gotten a ton of things off of Ben, so the biggest shout out to him. Really happy that he sold me this piece. I got it for a great price. I paid like $80 for it, which is not a bad price. I mean, I would imagine that's probably what this piece may have retailed for, but again, we don't know. So yeah, this item is probably my favorite hanging piece that I've ever owned. This is like, I mean, only like one of 3 that I currently have, and it's my only current Morbid prop that I own too. Morbid is such a cool company. They made a lot of great items, a lot of the head-turning ones. That seemed to be their most popular ones, but they did make some hanging ones. They made just basically anything. Like, they've made anything and everything, but a lot of the stuff they've done is small, And there are a few that they did like life-size characters, but a lot of them are like the smaller type characters, and they're still cool. But Morbid was just such a great company. I really wish that they were still around, because I do believe that they were one of the select companies that were still making pretty decent items. And unfortunately, with all Morbid items, or I guess most all, I'm not 100% sure. I think they're all, but I could be wrong. This clown is latex. That's the only complaint that I have. The latex is totally fine on this. I mean, I would even say it's perfect. But latex pieces, they don't tend to last very long. I have not had the best luck with them. This one seems to be totally fine, but you know, if it were to be used outside or like kept in a hot garage or attic, it would just rot away. And this one, it really relies on the latex being in good shape, because you have the eyes that close when the eyeballs go back in, and that's just the latex flexing back. So you really need it to be in good shape, or else it's, I mean, if the eyes come out and it's hardened, it's either going to break the eyes, or it's going to completely just break off the little eye pieces that cover his eyes. So, or sorry, the little eyelid pieces that cover his eyes. So you really got to find this one in good shape, or it's just, I mean, one activation, it'll just break itself. So this item, actually, I do have one more complaint about it. It's hands, and I'm not talking about just the weird shape that they're in, because it is kind of weird how like deformed they look. But his hands are made of vacuform. I don't like vacuform. I've never been a fan of it. It tends to break very easily. It likes to lose paint pretty easily as well. It's just a very cheap material to use. It's not good. But then again, it may have been like too heavy or something if they did any other material. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine it would weigh the arms down. The arms are made of like two huge bendable wires that you'd find in like a Gemmy character, but instead of having one in the arm, it's got two of them. So it's pretty difficult to bend the arms. You can do it, but it is decently difficult. But I do like that. Like, whatever position you will put the arms in, they will stay. They will not bend down. They will not like flex or anything. They will stay in that position. So that is very cool. But it is kind of a pain to bend them in the shape that you want. But I think that's about it. I will get an up-close look at him, because there's not too much to say about this since I don't have much information on it, and with, you know, the entire clothing just pretty much being all white, other than the blood on his, I guess, bib, there's not too much to say about it, so I will get an up-close look at it so you guys can see the detail, especially on the face, because it's very detailed. And, yeah. Okay, guys, so here he's up close. I will do my best to film the head. It's pretty far up, so I'm going to have like my hand above my head a lot for this, so I will try to get the best shot that I can. Actually, no, I can just, yeah, I can turn my screen down. So never mind, it should be good. So starting with the head, here it is. As you can see, it's very well detailed. I have actually not looked to see if he's supposed to have another line right here on this side. I'm not sure. I don't think he's supposed to. It would be pretty odd for them to miss that in the factory, so I doubt that it's supposed to have that, but my buddy Evan has one, so I could probably check that as well. So he's got some great detail on the head. As I said, it's all latex, and you can see the latex is in perfect shape. Nothing wrong with it. I haven't seen like any slits or cuts or anything on this, so I believe it is actually perfect. Here is the sensor in the top. It's not really hidden at all, but it's very small, so it doesn't really matter. And the hair is in pretty good shape. It's a very cheap hair material. I mean, it just doesn't really feel too good. It feels like a very cheap wig, but it does seem to do a good job of keeping the shape it's supposed to have, so not really a big complaint there. Here is the only place on him that has blood. I guess this is a bib or something. That's what we guess. But it's the only place that has blood. There's none on the hands, none of the head. It's just right here. I guess a little right there. It's kind of bled through, but this is the only place that has blood. And this bib is completely different from the rest of the costume. Not as like it's a different material. It's like it's separate. It's not like sewn on or anything. The costume itself is fraying quite a bit. Not too good, but you know, what can you do? This is what happens when you have like the shredded type fabric, which I love the shredded type fabric, but this is what happens when you do that. It loves to fray. And although it doesn't really, you know, detour from how cool it is, it still is kind of annoying because you'll have like these strands getting all tangled up and like have like these pieces like being caught up and everything. So it is quite annoying, but once you get them all down, once they're all straight, it doesn't really matter. And I mean, if I tried to run my fingers through this, they would probably get caught because again, there is just so much fraying, so many of the strands sticking together, so that is kind of annoying. The costume itself is glued along here. I did actually have to fix that. It initially had come unglued. I guess this was stored in a dry area, so it didn't seem to affect the latex, but it did crack off the glue. But thankfully, there is still these patches right here that basically showed me exactly where it's supposed to be glued, so I did that. So now that it's glued exactly where it's supposed to. I wasn't too sure if it was supposed to be glued on the hands. There was some like missing paint on the end, so like right there. So that kind of tells me that there probably was, and the glue took the paint off with it. So I did glue it up to the hands, but I did not glue it right there. It looked a lot better if it was up here. Because it does try to bleed through the fabric, as you can see. So if I have it, you know, in the front right here, you would see it bleeding through. So it didn't look good like that. So I just did it on the top right there. And it's the same thing on this side. Again, these are all vacuum form. The vacuum form is actually in good shape. It's not like cracking or anything. Knock on wood. But it's going to happen if it's like if it like drops or something. God forbid. But I mean, you can just see like how just cheap these hands are. I really do not like vacuum form. Like I would love it if this was made of any other material, even latex. I would be totally fine if it was made of like latex or something, but it's not. I just kind of have to deal with it. And they're all made of this, and all of their hands look really stupid like this. Like I don't even know what that is. Like it looks like a chicken's foot, and that's the only thing comparable that I would say. But even that's kind of like insulting chickens. So. And then, on the back of the head, I wish I could show it. I don't really want to get him down, but on the back, it's all flat. He only has like half a head because once it gets past here, it's just flat. Here is the try me button. It's not very long at all, and there's no place in the back to, you know, plug in another one, so you kind of have to utilize the sensor option, the sound sensor, or you have to be tall enough to push this. But if I were to have this like hung up somewhere, it would probably be pretty far up, so you could not use the try me button, and it really is classic Morbid to have just a try me button just hanging down. And like all the pieces, like the hanging Captain Spaulding, this one does take batteries. There's no place to plug in an adapter. However, if you were to, it would take 4.5 volts because it takes 3 batteries, if I'm not mistaken. And then I will show the tag that I made for it. Let me just reach over. Here is the tag. If it were on this, it would be like right here. But here it is. It says, I Popper Clown, Morbid Enterprises, www.morbidenterprises.com, 14+. On the back of it, it just has like all the information, like the barcode and all that kind of stuff, like the warnings, made in China, blah, blah, blah. But the front of it was really the most important to me to get correct. It's made of cardstock, so it's very shiny. You can see it's very shiny. So it's exactly how it should have been done. This is the material that, if this had the tag, it would be made of this material. So it's kind of hard to distinguish the difference between this and the regular tag. But there are some differences. I won't really go over them. It's just very small. But, I mean, if you're seeing it from high up on here, you're not going to notice it at all. Like, it's pretty much perfect. But I think that's about it with this character. I thought I forgot to mention something, but I guess not. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it with him. Because like I said, there's not too much information we have, so I can't really say anything else. Just great detailing on him. It looks great. It's very loud. Animation is perfect on it, which you guys will see in a moment. So I guess we will go ahead and activate it for you guys. Okay guys, so I will go ahead and activate him. He's got a pretty short phrase. And he's got 3 different ways to activate him. He's got a sound sensor, he's got a motion sensor, which I've actually not tested the motion sensor, I'm sure it works, but... So he's got those 2, and he's also got a try me button, which you can take off. I haven't done it, I don't intend to. It's kind of glued onto the character, but you can, it seems you can take it off, but I'm just going to leave it on. And I don't believe any work was ever done on this piece. I think all the gears are original, so that's cool and scary at the same time. I really hope that there's no issues with it in the future, but I guess we'll see. Time will tell. And before I do activate them, if you hear a popping sound while the eyes are coming out, that's not the gears or anything. That's the eyes hitting the vacuform behind the latex, because it does kind of get in the way, so it pushes it out of the way, and that's the noise that you're going to hear. It's not the gears or anything, believe me. It would be terrifying if the gears were like making some sort of cracking sound or whatever, but it's not that. It's the vacuform. Or not, yeah, the vacuform. So I will activate it. So yeah, 3 seconds of activation, excluding the eyes going back in the head. So very short, but I still do love the audio it has. I love the animation, it's so cool. Again, this is just such a classic example of Morbid. Even though it's like a pretty rare piece, like when you see this, you're like, yeah, that's got to be Morbid. Of course it's Morbid. So I will activate them like 2 more times, and then I will say that's the end of the review. Because, again, there's not too much more to say about it. And then his eyes do light up, so I will get that in the dark. And if I can get my Alexa to turn it on, I have a black light that looks super cool on him. If I can get it to go off. Alexa, black light on.
Okay.
There we go. So you can see he glows pretty well. I've actually got like a flashlight, a black light flashlight that I cannot get to right now. If I actually had it shined on it, it would light up so much more. But this is like with the black light far away, and you can see it still lights up pretty good. So the fabric being pearly white, the black light does a great job of illuminating it, so it looks super cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Really hope you guys enjoyed. The sensor did not actually go off when I had the lights turned back on, so maybe it doesn't work. Oh, there it goes. So yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys again next time. Again, huge shout out to Ben. Shout out to my friend Evan because he also has this piece, and he has the Hooded Reaper, and he got his clown off of Ben as well. Ben had 2 of them, and there was not like really one that was in better shape than the other. They were basically pretty much the same. But yeah, so really hope you guys enjoyed watching. I will attempt to get more Morbid pieces. There's only a few that I absolutely love that I would pay a lot of money for. But a lot of their pieces go for quite a bit, and those ones that go for a lot, are the ones I happen to like, unfortunately, so it's going to be kind of a pain to get them. But yeah, guys, I will see you guys next time. It's so cool.